everybody. This is Stacey James with Soul Fuel TV. We are going to be speaking with Kim Parke today, author of Raising Hope. Hello, Kim.
Hello, Stacey.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you. She does a lot of speaking, she does coaching, and she is out there with many positive messages. So this is wonderful for the listeners here. I guess I'll jump right into it. And as I'd mentioned, Raising Hope is the book that you just released. Did you want to
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about it?
So, Raising Hope is a book. It's my memoir, basically, and it's written in chronological form, and it starts with the birth of my second daughter, who was born in October 1997, and 3 weeks after her birth, um, the she was diagnosed with a very rare syndrome called Wolf-Hirschhorn.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And the book is about the journey.
And the book is about the journey. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, she's born with this syndrome, and what's interesting about um, this diagnosis is while I was carrying hope, I felt like I was kind of being prepared for something really, really big. And I can't really elaborate too much more. It's just that I felt a lot of things coming into my awareness
Okay.
during that pregnancy. And even insofar as I would be inquisitive with my doctor about how tests were. And so when they came back that they were all normal, I kind of just carried on with, you know, my pregnancy. This was my second pregnancy. So I hope, uh, who was born in October 97, had an older sister born in December 1991. And but I did. I felt like, again, there was this kind of nagging feeling. There was something very different. And I must say, I, that did end up being the case. When she was born, you could tell at her birth that there was something going on. So
Your intuition was on.
my intuition was on, and it was very obvious. Like, there was no, like, let's see how it goes. Her visual appearance was enough that genetics was called immediately after her birth.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. And what would you, I guess, characterize as a real life altering moment?
Well, I would have to say that, that whole process, like her birth itself, prior to that, me just having a feeling something is a little off isn't necessarily 100% proof, but it happened that week. Those 5 days in the hospital after she was born. Definitely, my life had changed. That during those 5 days, 100%.
Yeah,
Um, like nothing else has.
of course.
Hmm.
And what would be one thing that you would feel that helped bring you through it?
You know what? I really felt my soul carrying me the whole time. Kind of hard to describe. Everything was going very, very slowly. It was very surreal during um, that time. I I felt that, um, yeah, just in lots of ways. I was literally being carried. Um, that's what it felt like. Um, of course, I definitely had many tears were shed
Of course.
just in the hours after she was born, and that sort of thing. But
Felt
I
supported in
saw her
some
a
way.
fair bit while I was in the hospital. But when I came home from the hospital, I spent my days there while her older sister was she was in grade 1 at the time.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean that's life altering right there, having a
Yeah,
young one
yeah,
that's in school and
it was.
active and then at the hospital, right? That'd be
Exactly. Yeah, everything had completely changed. It was not a normal birthing experience where you have a baby and you bring the baby home within,
Mm-hmm.
1 to 3 days.
Yeah.
Um, it was a completely different experience where, you know, there was a plan developed, and that plan was that, they could see that Hope, I was very attentive mother, and they kind of were sort of gearing up to her being able to feed on her own
Mm-hmm.
with a special bottle so she could come home. And I was told that there was a lot of help in the community. And so I kind of just went with that. I just didn't really, um, even though the social worker in the hospital said I wouldn't be a bad person if I left her there, I didn't really think that it's something, especially when I considered her older sister at the time, and how could I tell her that her baby sister was no good to bring home? So
Yeah.
that played on my mind a lot.
Yeah, of course. And what do you think that the inspiration behind your book would be?
Well, the inspiration is, I definitely, I looked. I tend to be kind of an optimistic outlook person as a whole to begin with, but I really, when you're in situations like that, you look for the gems, and you look for the goodness in this new life. It's a new landscape completely,
Mm-hmm.
and you find them. What you focus on expands, and how you set up your day and everything. Um, it really um, became, yeah, just uncharted territory, and just being kind with yourself. I can tell you though that after Hope was born, um, if I felt in one way that I had control over any other person other than myself, um, and quite often people do that. They think that they have more control over other people than than they'd like to admit. But
Yeah.
really, after Hope was born, I knew that I have no control over what anyone else does ever again.
Yeah. So a real
Yeah,
know thyself mentality came into play
it is absolutely.
for sure. Yeah, and I mean, what do you think would have made a big difference in your experience?
Well, definitely having, and this is a big why for writing my book, Stacey. I did learn that, yeah, there is some help, but I mean there were times when I was looking for daycare and work at the same time, having to leave my career as well, and then only to find out that foster parents are paid quite a handsome salary to foster kids like Hope.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I did, in the neighborhood that I was living in the city, there was a family that was fostering two boys with cerebral palsy, and the agencies that they were fostering those boys out of paid them $4,000 tax-free each month for
Oh,
each
wow.
boy. So that was their family's income. It was their family's income. There was two other teenage children in that blended family, and that was their income. I mean, they had their hobbies and whatnot, but that was their family income. So you can see that, yeah, so the boys did have a lot of attention, almost four adults in the house, with the two parents and the teenagers. However, I was expected to, as a biological parent, yeah, for sure. There are some things like you don't have to pay for diapers after your child is 3 years old, but up until then you do. And but I had um, those those that bit of help, but in no way, shape, or form was I able to financially continue the same life I did before Hope was born, and I just think that's something in the system that just drastically has to change, um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and and making it impossible for biological parents financially just to put the child in a foster situation when the biological parents really needs to be offered that in the first
First.
place. And if
Yeah.
they're not ready, willing, or able, then it should go to a foster family, and only then.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
I absolutely agree. And like, I mean, when you're thinking back on these trials and tribulations and everything that you went through, what is the best thing that you got from it?
Well, just definitely more of a faith in my higher power. I've always been a spiritual person, um, and just having that deep faith, and things will work out, and just um, just living life richer. I think it really brings you down to that, acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And once that acceptance piece is so huge, because you're not resisting something, then you've accepted it, and it really gives you a lot of energy to do something about it. And I believe our Creator loves the doers, eh? Lots of people talk about doing things, but it's the ones that actually get up and do it, are really, doing, doing, doing the stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, and I would just, yeah, just, and then through this, I sort of broadened my spirituality. I kind of opened it up in different ways, and I found a lot of relief in hypnosis and timeline therapy and energy um, medicine like Reiki and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I ended up thinking, wow, geez, if this has helped me this much, I'm going to get the training and help others, get through the stuff that they're going through. And quite often, our conventional approaches to these sorts of situations often go with, suppressing feelings or drugging them, and really what you have to do is you gotta feel them and release them, and just let it go,
Yeah.
and you do really find that, you get the spring back in your step, and the sun comes up the next day, and things do look lighter and brighter, because those those windows of perception are cleaned, and
Yes.
they're cleansed, and you
Get
do
to the
see
root.
the world with new eyes, and fresher eyes too. So again, I can't speak for everyone, but I think if you go through those steps and you have that acceptance, and move on to the gratitude. I'm not saying being grateful for all of it, but just move on to um, having gratitude, for for the new knowledge, and it's just a different course in life.
Mm-hmm.
So embracing it, and accepting it is is the key to opens the door.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love the way you think.
Yeah.
I
Thank
do.
you.
And I guess lastly, I mean, you kind of put it in there a bit, but I'm sure that you must have a little something extra for us. If you had a message for anyone that has been in your previous kind of situation, or that has gone through some of the things that you've gone through, what would it be? What message would you send?
I would say just keep reaching out. Keep reaching out for help. I mean, there was, and things will stick when the time is right. We often don't, give up until we're fed up, and no one has to put up with poor behavior or anything like that. I mean, it's just that whole self care, and put the focus on you, and 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 just keep working at making yourself, a better person, and it's the way to get out, because that's when you create that congruency, and when you get that congruency going, when your thoughts and your actions match, and that congruency gets going, it's a lot of personal power, and you really become kind of a dynamo, and an inspiration for others,
Yes.
and and it's well worth it. So there's lots of gems to be found along the way. So
Hmm.
I would just say, yeah, being kind to yourself and loving, because that's where it all begins.
Yes, for sure. Oh, well, thank you, Kim. I'm so glad that you spoke with us today. And for any of the listeners out there, make sure you check out Raising Hope. Do a quick Google on Miss Kim Parke here. You can visit www.raisinghope.ca, and there's
Hmm.
information there. And is there any other places that your information can be found?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, there's the website, www.raisinghope.ca. The book is coming out in bookstores. It's
Beautiful.
also available for purchase through my website. And yeah, and I just look forward to, meeting as many people as I can at my book signings. Once they're scheduled, I will be, there is a Raising Hope Facebook page, and then there's my personal page. They would be advertised on there. And yeah, and just let readers know that, there's a contact page on my website. Just reach out to me. I love hearing from you, hearing your ideas, your thoughts, and
Mm,
yeah, I think our stories help each other grow. And
absolutely.
it was a while to get this book out there, but I've always enjoyed autobiographies and memoirs. I've been inspired by other people's lives, and I'm just doing my part to help and inspire others, and I just love to hear about others and their inspirational stories as well.
For sure. Yes. So don't hesitate, folks. If you want to reach out, if you have any questions, Kim is available to you to answer some of those questions and would love to meet you at one of her book signings. We will also get some of those dates available for people to look up as well. So, again, thank you so much, and we will talk again in the future.
Oh, thank you so much, Stacey. Thanks for having me on your show.
For sure. Thank you. So, again, another huge thank you to Kim Parke for her courage and inspiration. And I have no doubt in my mind that she is going to inspire a lot of people with this story. It is absolutely remarkable, and I've had the opportunity to go through the book, and it is very, very moving. I definitely would recommend this read to anybody that is looking for a story with some real truth and would like to get inside the heart, the mind, and the spirit of the author. And she's just a phenomenal woman. So thanks again to Kim Parke. And thank you so much to all the listeners. Your support means the world to us over here. And that is what's going to keep this going. So please make sure that you tune in. Soul Fuel TV. We are going to be meeting with a lot of incredibly inspirational people over the course of the next while, and look forward to sharing these stories and hopefully fueling your soul. Bye for now.